Good evening and welcome to our Take the Next Step session. We have lots of you logging on right now, which is very exciting to see. That means that we have so many students to say congratulations to. Big welcome and congratulations into the College of Charleston family. We are so thrilled to have you all. And congratulations on this accomplishment. You all rocked it. You worked hard, and this is something to celebrate. And we're glad to be here with each of you this evening. My name is Devin Thompson. I'm with the Visitor Experience team here in the Office of Admissions at the College of Charleston. And again, on behalf of my colleagues and I, we are just so thrilled to speak with you all tonight. Tonight's presentation in and of itself will be pretty short. We have a few slides that we want to run through, but we are going to open up time at the end for Q&A. We have several counselors on the chat tonight that will be answering your questions throughout the presentation. And then if we see some consistent questions being asked, we'll answer those live as well. So just a few housekeeping items there. Make sure that you drop your questions in the Q&A portion, not the chat box. That'll help us manage those a little bit easier this evening. All right, well, that's enough from me. I'm going to hand it over to one of our fantastic admissions team members, Patrick, and he's going to lead us through tonight's presentation. Patrick.
Wonderful. Thank you, Devin. Again, just want to reiterate a very special congratulations to all of our admitted students as well as their parents on a tremendous job done. The seniors, right, you all have been through just tremendous challenges in your high school career, the ups and downs of COVID and lockdown and recovery from all that. So really tremendous job on persevering, and obviously we're excited to look forward to the next step of your college career, your next step of your educational career, and we hope that's here at the College of Charleston. And so we are going to walk through a few steps. As Devin said, if you look down on the bottom of your Zoom window, you will see a Q&A section, or if you're on mobile, you can pull it up there. We do have a Q&A section. You'll hear me remind you a few times because this is scheduled to go from 7 until 8 tonight, and I don't want you to run out of questions. I don't want you to think last minute that there's going to be a question that comes up. So please make sure to take advantage of that early and use it to your resources there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right. So as we said, congratulations. We have a team of counselors that works in our office with students all over the country and around the world, whether they're right here in the state of South Carolina or all over the United States and around the world. We've worked very hard to go through our applications and make the best decisions we can at this point. We're really excited by this freshman class, really fantastic numbers coming in, really speaks well to the strength of Charleston, the wonderful academics, and the overall fantastic college experience awaiting them. So congratulations to you all. You might be thinking, what do I do next? Where do I go from here? There is you've obviously been directed in the past to the Take the Next Steps page online. But a big part of that, and really the start to everything, is going to be to pay your deposit. So a few things. You'll go onto that onto the myportal.cofc.edu. And you'll go through the steps being able to get to that. You will need to have your Charleston email set up. The credentials for that start on your admissions portal. I know it's a little bit confusing. There's an admissions portal. There's now My Portal, but I promise you it will make sense eventually. And obviously, once you're at Charleston, you will only be using the myportal.cofc.edu. But you'll find those resources there. You'll go in, you'll pay your $400 non-refundable enrollment deposit. This is a $400 deposit. It is applied to your fall tuition. It is not a fee. It is not an additional charge. It is money that will eventually come off of your tuition bill. So that is, like I said, non-refundable. That deposit is going to secure your spot in the class here for the fall. Next slide. From there, we move on to housing. And this is obviously a big and exciting thing for our students. With the vast majority of our students opting to live on campus. On February 1st, the housing application will become available. You obviously will want to have your Charleston email set up by then. That means that you've deposited. All students then will have until May 1st to make any changes to their housing application, as well as go through and get some additional information. There is a $50 housing application fee. It's also non-refundable, but students will submit that along with their housing application. There's lots of questions that you're going to have about housing. We do have a representative here from Residence Life who's going to be able to answer some questions as we go through with the chat, but there is a tremendous resource I want you to make sure to take advantage of. Housing.cfc.edu. Fantastic website. On that website, you will find room tours. You'll find information on all the different buildings. You'll find some videos. You'll find some really good next steps in terms of getting the most information out of it, how to go through the housing application. It's a great resource, and I encourage everyone to get online and start there in your questions about the housing process, but it's a really great resource and will provide a wealth of information for you. Next slide. Okay, looking ahead, right, we are going to be looking for all of our enrolled students' final transcript as well as your credit evaluation. So 2 parts here. All students graduating from high school, we are going to need to see a final high school transcript. This is going to include your final GPA as well as your graduation date. Depending on when your high school finishes for the year, this should be available sometime in May or possibly into June. Make sure your high school knows where you're going to be attending. Let them know that, hey, I'm going to the College of Charleston. And they should be sure to send a transcript over to us. We do receive that official high school transcript. We go through it. We process things on our end. We do need to have an official high school transcript on record in order for us to be able to release a student's records and make sure that they can register for their classes at orientation, which we'll get to in just a minute here. The other part of it is credit evaluation. If you are a student who has taken any dual enrollment classes or taken any AP classes or possibly even IB classes, if you have college credit coming in from any one of those resources, you're obviously going to want to make sure that you get your academic credit for that. And so make sure that those come into the College of Charleston with final grades as soon as they're available. We will go through, there's a number of good resources on the transfer website. So transfer.cfc.edu. This includes our database of credit evaluations that are out there. So most likely the community college or technical college that you've been taking dual enrollment classes with, they're going to have the information there. On our admissions website, we have an overview of what AP and IB as well as CLEP test, all those different things that are out there. But we want to make sure to get you that college credit so that when you meet with an academic advisor, they have the clearest, most up-to-date picture of what your academic status looks like, and they can make the best recommendations for registering for classes for this fall and beyond. Next slide. Okay, after a few of those kind of nuts and bolts on what things to do, there obviously comes into question a big question for people in terms of how do I pay for college? And it's an important consideration. It's a very important consideration. And I can already see a number of questions coming up here. I know that we are going to have a little bit of an overview here of some expected fees and costs that come along with it. But we do take a number of different funding sources. And so if obviously any federal aid that a student would be awarded through the FAFSA, things like Pell Grants and those sorts of things, obviously those are applicable here at the College of Charleston. We do encourage all students to fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is based on some prior year financial information. And obviously then the last number of years have been really up and down for a number of families. And so even if parents out there have had students who have gone through the process before and maybe they didn't find themselves being successful with the FAFSA, we encourage every student to fill out the FAFSA each and every year. It doesn't cost anything. It does take a little bit of time to fill out, but it really does provide a really good option and oftentimes can surprisingly find some additional benefits for students. So we encourage you to get the FAFSA taken care of. We will talk a little bit about some internal scholarships here in just a second, but between scholarships and then federal and state aid. Obviously, in the state of South Carolina, there's a number of great education benefits like the Education Lottery Life, Hope, and the Palmetto Fellows. Those are all based on different merit levels, and our financial aid office will work with students to make sure that they are qualified for and receive as many of those benefits as they are entitled to. Next slide. I mentioned some internal scholarships. So all of you should have hopefully received an email today about what we call internally as CSAS, the Cougar Scholarship Awarding System. This is what we use to be able to match students up to a number of different internal funding systems. So that is first and foremost going to be our departmental scholarships. So you'll find that most of the schools here at the College of Charleston, like our School of Business, our School of Sciences, Mathematics, and Engineering, as well as all the other schools here, they offer a number of departmental scholarships. For students to be eligible for that, they do need to have their scholarship application into us with enough time here. As well as departmental scholarships, there's also a number of specialty as well as other private scholarships that might exist within the College of Charleston. This form will ask you all sorts of questions. The one thing to remember, and you'll see it here in blue, is the deadline for this is January 25th. So it is important that all applicants get this scholarship in. Right, if you're going through the process and you're unsure and suddenly you decide in April that you'd love to be considered for a departmental scholarship, if you don't have that CSAS scholarship application into us by January 25th, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to help students in that situation. So make sure to put that on your to-do list, work yourself through that process. It'll need some information and it's got all the instructions online. But from there, we look forward to working with our foundation services and a number of different groups here on campus to best connect our students to helping them make the College of Charleston as affordable as possible. Next slide. Okay, so let's get a few of these questions. I did see something come in real quick here. Can you fill out the CSAS form before your $400 deposit? Absolutely, and we encourage you to. The $400 deposit is due to us by May 1st, but absolutely we expect all students to hopefully fill out that CSAS application even before they have made ultimately a final decision. It's going to hopefully inform and give you that much as clear a picture as possible of what the financial picture at the College of Charleston looks like. Okay, so we've got January 25th, hopefully at the top of everyone's mind here. Let's look at some tuition and fees. So what we have laid out here is for this current academic year. So this is for both fall and spring semester combined. We have it in two sections. Obviously, as a public institution, there's a difference for South Carolina residents as well as for non-residents. This is broken up into two sections. The top portion you see is tuition, fees, room and board. These are your direct costs. This is what you will ultimately have a bill from the College of Charleston for. The bottom section, books and supplies, transportation, personal expenses, these are indirect costs, but these are good estimates for students to consider with keeping in mind. So things like books and supplies, those vary, right? Taking a lot of hands-on science laboratory classes might take those fees up a little bit higher. Taking classes with more open source or with cheaper resources, those might change. And then transportation, depending on how far you're coming, how frequently you go home. Those are all, again, just indirect costs for students to consider. There's some federal guidelines that help inform these numbers and guide them, but they are indirect. We're not going to ever charge a student a specific fee for transportation. As a College of Charleston student, you're able to ride the buses around downtown absolutely free. So there we go. But it does have, though, for in-state and out-of-state there. We'll leave here just for 1 second. If you do want to grab one last screenshot of it, it can be really helpful to have one solid place to be able to get a snapshot of what everything might look like here. We will ultimately set our tuition and fees for the next year let's see, when do we typically do that? Typically right in July is when we will have the final number for what we will do. Our board of trustees, our president's office, there's a number of decisions that go into it, but trying to keep our costs in check. And again, the focus is on making this as affordable as possible for students. Okay, everyone's got it. And on to the next slide. Honors College. Honors College, if you had applied for the Honors College with your early action application, you should have also received notification of an outcome of that application as well. They will continue to work with students in their pipeline, students that may have been waitlisted to the Honors College. They will be in contact with students as they go through that process. But honors.cofc.edu will have a wealth of information there for you. There are 2 dates in particular for students that have been accepted into the Honors College to keep in mind. And again, this would all have been communicated to you in your acceptance letter. In your portal, in your admissions portal there, you'd have the information from the Honors College. There is an interview weekend. This is by invitation only. That is coming up in early February. Honors College gets in touch directly with students regarding this information. But for all students who have been accepted into the Honors College, they are invited to keep an eye on that Honors Experience Day on campus, March 17th of 2023. And of course, if you have any questions along the way, honors@cofc.edu is the place to go. Okay, working your way through it, right? You've got a sense of where your housing is. You're starting to shift gears and really get excited about where you're going to be next year. And orientation becomes that next step. Registration will open up in early March for students. If you go onto their website, orientation.cofc.edu, as well as the link you see here, you'll get a good information of a sense of what it is. Orientation is a 2-day, 1-night on-campus experience. It's a chance for students to get connected with other students just like them, starting in the fall. The big takeaway, though, and the thing that gets people really excited, besides spending a night on campus and getting to know people, is obviously meeting with an academic advisor. And assuming that we have a final transcript, that we have everything else kind of squared away, at that point, though, once the student has met with their academic advisor, they get to register for their classes. One of the things I really love that orientation does is really helps and make sure that students across the board have an opportunity to get that ideal schedule and timing for them. So what they do is they know the classes that students are going to sign up for as freshmen often. And what they do is they actually take the seats in those classes and they spread them out across all the orientation dates. So orientations will start in June and they will continue through July and even I think into August. And students, regardless of which orientation date they have, will have equal chance in order to sign up for those classes because they do spread those seats out across all of the different orientation spots. So you can get, like I said, get more information on their website, but it's a great resource to be able to find out what to expect of the orientation process this summer. Next slide. All right, we have 2 great pre-college programs for students to keep on their radar. Obviously, those students looking to kind of get a little bit of a head start and make some great connections here at the College of Charleston. First of these is Spectra. Spectra is for students of certain backgrounds, but it's a great way to get your college career started on a really positive foot. This is a program that we've done for over 40 years here at the College of Charleston. It's a summer program. Students enroll in classes that they earn credit for. They live on campus. They get really connected to a number of different programs and activities across the college campus, but it really is a fantastic transition for them from high school into college and a great way to continue that legacy of the Spectra program right here at the College of Charleston. Next slide. And then we have our Cougar Excursion. Cougar Excursion is a 3-day, 2-night interactive program where students are going to be out and about. They're going to be spending some time in the great outdoors and learning and building a strong sense of community. It is an additional program, and there's a lot of activities that go along with it, but you can see the link there, go.cofc.edu/Cougar Excursion, but that'll tell you all about the different things that it has to offer. And the application for that will open up in the spring. So be sure to check that out to get a little bit more information about the Cougar Excursion. Obviously, we want to see you. A number of you have had a chance to come down to Charleston and see firsthand this beautiful campus, this wonderful city, all the history that surrounds us, the wonderful low country with its unique landscape, its fantastic food, and just the warm sense of Southern hospitality. We are going to have a number of different events through the spring. We, in particular, are going to have 2 admitted student days. Registration for those events is open. The first one of those will be February 25th. The second of them will be March 18th. So you can go onto the website listed there and have a chance to connect with some of our different events. We will also have some virtual admitted Cougar events as well. One note, and I will add this too, is your email becomes crucial, right? The email that you applied with, the email that you got notified of, hey, congratulations, there's a decision available. Make sure that you're checking that email. Make sure that you're keeping aware of things. This is where we're going to send reminders about that Cougar Scholarship awarding system deadline, right? If you haven't submitted that application by January 25th, we're probably going to send you a reminder to that email. As we get closer to some of these admissions events and we're having our admitted student days in February and March, we might be sending reminders for you to register for that. We want to make sure that we're in contact with you and you're getting all the best information so that you can make the most informed and most accurate decision for you and where you want to spend the next 4 years of your education. But please make sure to continue to interact with us. Come see us in person. Let us know what we can do. Let us know what kind of questions we can answer. That is absolutely something that we love doing for our students. All right. And then let's keep in touch. So you see some contact information here. So admissions@cofc.edu. This is our general email as well as our general phone number down there. Our website has a number of great resources on it. One of them you'll want to have, and I think I'm going to guess at this point, maybe some of my colleagues have put into the chat the Find My Counselor information. If you have a really specific question, if there's something that just is really confusing you and you're having a lot of trouble with it, we encourage you to always get in touch with your counselor. If you go onto our website, whether you live out of state or whether you live in state, you can go through by putting your state, possibly even your county, to tell us, and you'll be able to know exactly who your counselor is. Feel free to reach out with specific questions that you may have. We're here to help you. Obviously, we're present on all the social channels, but for really specific questions that may be unique to your situation, we always encourage you to get in touch with your individual counselor. One thing I do want to make a note of, just so that everyone's aware and to help manage expectations, we're obviously coming up on a holiday break. At the College of Charleston, we will be closing the entire university. So all of our counselors, as well as all of our admissions staff, all the different resources around campus, we will be closing on Wednesday, December 21st at 2 p.m. We will be closed through Christmas into the new year. The Office of Admission will reopen on Tuesday, January 3rd. The rest of the campus will also be opening up there as well. So we appreciate your patience. We appreciate your understanding as our academic staff and our counselors, and everyone takes, I think, a very much deserved break, and hopefully everyone has a chance to spend some time with family and getting just a good breather before they head into that spring semester, or for some of our seniors out there, turning into the new year, getting ready for midterms, and then finishing up their senior year on a strong note. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and open it up for some questions. And so I'm going to kind of shift over and get a sense of where we might be here and see if Devin has some questions for me to hopefully answer.
I certainly do. Thanks for a great presentation, Patrick. All right, so our first question that we're going to take live asks, how do I select a minor? When I submitted my application, I never saw an option for this.
Patrick, I can help out too if you need now.
That'd be a great chance for Rebecca Drury to step in.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Drury. I'm a senior associate director here at the College of Charleston. I've been trying to plug away with my fingers on these questions. But in regards to minors and technically majors too, when you all applied, you applied to the college as a whole. So that means that when you are ready, but before the end of sophomore year, you will declare a major. What you put on your application is solely an interest. You are not locking yourself into that major or anything. And so the same goes for minors. If you know you want to minor in leadership, which is what I studied at the college as a minor, then you'll declare that through your My Portal account when you're ready. And that's what your advisors are there for, to help you as well. But again, every student comes in technically undecided, and you will declare by the end of sophomore year.
Perfect. Thank you, Rebecca. Let's see, our next question, and I can actually take this one, asks, is it possible to attend the 317 Honors Experience Day and the March 18th Admitted Students Day? Yes, we actually encourage you to do that. If you've been admitted to the Honors College, we are hoping that you'll make it a long weekend and join us for both events. The Honors College Experience Day will obviously be different than what you would experience the next day for Admitted Student Day, because not all admitted students apply to the Honors College. So we're holding spaces for honors students to be able to attend both, but I would go on and register for the March 18th Admitted Student Day now, and then you'll get more information here soon from the Honors College specifically about the Honors Experience Day. Okay, this next question, Rebecca or Patrick, I think either of you could take it, but
I'll grab it.
It asks what parking options are available for freshmen.
Yeah, so there's always a lot of questions about parking on campus and can I bring a car and do I need a car? Let's get a few of these kind of lumped together out of the way. So do you need a car? Absolutely not. You're going to be in the middle of a dynamic, bustling city with a lot of different things to take advantage of. So you are absolutely positively not going to need a car. Where in regards to how this is handled is the College of Charleston will not sell you an on-campus parking pass until you have 60 credits on record. And so once you have 60 credits, then you're able to get an on-campus parking spot. If it is absolutely crucial that you have access to the car, access to a vehicle, what I would remind students is that they are in the middle of a city and there are a number of off-campus parking decks. And so if it is really crucial, a student would need to, on their own, find one of those off-campus parking spots. But as a freshman, the College of Charleston is not going to sell you one of those on-campus parking spots.
And I'd like to add, we had another one that was the same, but had an additional piece to it about upperclassmen having an off-campus option for living that's still through CofC. Unfortunately not. The housing website, though, does offer recommendations, but should you want to live off campus, it is totally up to you to be able to find it, secure it, and everything of that nature.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see. Toya, this is probably a good question for you. It asks, is housing priority preference based on when deposits are received?
So housing priority is actually based on the date that students complete the application, not the date that you submit the deposit. So you have to physically pay your deposit, pay your housing application fee, and actually complete the application to get in line to select housing for the fall.
Perfect. Thank you. Our next question asks, if you aren't selected for the Honors College this year, are you able to reapply next year?
I'll get that one. Yes and no. The Honors College will take a select few of transfer students, so current students who will then go into the Honors College, but it is imperative that if you are at all interested in the Honors College, that you go ahead and apply now by January 15th, only because that's going to be the best chance for you to be accepted. Also, a lot of the really great advantages of the Honors College take place during your freshman year or your first year. So if you are interested in the Honors College, you can do so by going into your admissions portal. So where you viewed your admissions decision, and there is an Honors College tab. The only additional thing needed to apply to the Honors College is an additional essay. So please go ahead and do that if you're interested in the Honors College. And that is due by January 15th. And they will do their best to get you a decision on the Honors College by March 1st as well.
Thanks, Rebecca. Lots of good questions coming in, trying to keep up with all of them. Let's see. I think Toya or one of our counselors could answer this, but how many years of housing do students receive?
I can chime in. You can apply for 4 years of housing. You are only guaranteed, freshmen are only guaranteed if they complete the application by May 1st. Upperclassmen are only guaranteed housing if they complete the application within the specified time frame each year.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, a general question that I think we get pretty frequently. So Patrick or Rebecca, I'll let you chime in for this one, but it asks, how is safety on and off campus and how prevalent is Greek life?
So I can answer. Sorry, Devin, can you repeat the first part of the question? I got the Greek life. Sorry.
Campus safety.
Yeah.
Oh, campus safety. Great. Thank you. So I will start with the campus safety piece. I, as a previous student at the College of Charleston, I lived on campus for 2 years, off campus for 2. I personally never felt unsafe. But of course, I don't necessarily recommend anyone walk alone, but I would say that in your small town of Iowa, you know, it's a matter of being aware. But we do have the blue light system on our campus. We also have our very own CofC public safety office. They are all certified police officers and everything of that nature. But then we also have the whole city of Charleston Police Department that you'll see throughout campus because we are so integrated into the city. In regards to our residence halls as well, all of those first year residence halls are also going to be manned by a front desk worker from certain hours at night until the early in the morning. There is a public safety officer manning that desk as well. During the main day, though, it's manned by a residence hall assistant. And so there's always going to be the safety there. You have to fob into the residence halls and everything as well. In regards to Greek life, we're only about 20% Greek on campus. I like to say we're not a go Greek or go home school. I personally wasn't involved in Greek life, but had friends who were, had friends who weren't. If you are interested in Greek life, then by all means, I think that you should go through the recruitment process. Because at the end of the day, it's your decision if you want to continue with it. So definitely, though, it's there for you if you like. If not, you're going to find so many other amazing things to do on campus and in the city of Charleston as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. Our next question asks, how do you know what department to apply for scholarships through if you haven't declared your major? Did that get asked already? I'm sorry.
No. I don't think so. I marked this one to go live because I figured it would be easier to explain live. But because I mentioned earlier that you all technically come in undeclared, it's a great question. But how do you know what department to apply for those scholarships if you haven't declared? Is what are you interested in? If you are interested in business and you could see yourself majoring in business or something in the business school for the next 4 years, then I recommend applying for those. However, if you are completely undecided, you have absolutely no idea what it is that you want to study, which is fine. It is a little bit harder to apply for some of those departmental scholarships. But there are other ways to receive that aid through scholarships. We recommend outside scholarships all the time. There's ones in your local community. When I was applying for outside scholarships, I applied to one from the Daughters of the American Revolutionary, which I had no idea that was even a thing back in high school. So there are those opportunities even outside of the College of Charleston as well.
Thanks, Rebecca. Okay, let's see. We're getting lots of honors college specific questions, which are really good questions. But unfortunately, we do not have an honors team member on tonight. So we really strongly encourage you all to email honors@cofc.edu specifically if you have any kind of questions about being waitlisted or appealing your decision. That's going to be your best point of contact for those related questions. Let's see. Our next question asks, let's see, when is the first like tuition payment due, and what kind of resources are available once final bills come out in July?
Yeah, so there, I'm going to pull up, actually, Rebecca, if you might know when the first one is due. What I can say is the bursar's office is going to have a number of different resources in terms of payment plans, and those can all be set up with them. There's a variety of ways to spread it out, whether it's going to be through 2 payments, through 3 payments. I think you can go maybe even up to a month or to 10 payments.
I think
5 or 6. There's a number of different options on there, but it lays out kind of what that it specifically looks for. But it's all going to be through our bursar's office. That's going to have all those details. I don't know specifically when the first bill is due, though. Hopefully one of our
it depends on your orientation, because it goes off of how many credits you register for and everything along those lines. So the first ones, depending on orientation, again, tend to be released out in August. If you attend a later orientation, then it's normally the first week of September.
Perfect. Let's see. Our next question, do freshmen get departmental scholarships, or is this mainly for upperclassmen?
Both.
Both, yeah. I would say we absolutely are, encouraging our freshmen to fill out this CSAS departmental application, because there are incoming freshman departmental scholarships to be had.
Lots of merit scholarships coming in, you guys. Just a reminder about if students want to appeal their merit decision or have questions, can you touch on that again, just as a general touch point for those who have questions about more allocations of merit funds, if any will be released, things of that nature?
I highly recommend reaching out to your admissions counselor directly. We first and foremost are going to point you in the direction to CSAS and those out-of-state scholarships. Being a public in-state school, we unfortunately don't have as much money as we would like to give our students. This is by no means a reflection on you as a student, but instead on a lack of funds for these scholarships. But if you do have any direct questions, please reach out to your admissions counselor directly.
Thanks, Rebecca. We've gotten a couple questions about our freshmen required to live on campus, and this is an easy one, so I'll just take it. But no, freshmen are not required to live on campus, but we strongly encourage you to live on campus. It's just a great way to get integrated into your new campus community and make it feel like home for the 4 years that you're there.
And the vast majority will.
Yeah, a large percentage of our freshmen will live on campus. Okay, this is a good question. Do we need to submit the FAFSA in order to apply for CSAS scholarships?
No, but I highly recommend doing so, because some of those scholarships might be need-based. So it's free. That FAFSA is free. I'm going to say it again. It is free. So I would do it.
There you have it. We had a question about admitted student days, if they are in person. Yes, both of our admitted student days will be in person this year. We are very excited to go back to our original pre-COVID capacities. So we're able to accommodate many more admitted students this year than we were last year, as we kind of started to reopen up those opportunities for in-person expanded visits. So typically admitted student days will begin around 9, and run until about 4 in the afternoon. It is a full day of activities, everything from tour opportunities. We have different special topic sessions. We'll be hosting a major and minor fair, a club and organization fair, student panels, faculty panels. There's a lot to do and see while you're with us, and we want you to make the most of it. So go on and start planning your travels now. Register for those days, even if you think you might have to cancel. It's better to go on and claim your spot now, because it is, registration, while we've expanded it, is still limited. So go on and mark your calendars and make your plans, because we want to see you this spring. Okay, next question. What is the process for selecting a roommate? Toya, that one's probably going to be best answered by you.
Most students will choose a roommate if you know a person, or if you want to find a person. This process will actually happen within the housing application. The fun thing about it is you won't be able to find anybody unless they have completed the application. So if you're looking for a friend who hasn't been accepted yet, or they haven't completed the application, you have to tell them to complete the application first. But you'll use the tools within the housing application to search for roommates. You can search for a person you know, you can search for people you don't know. Everyone will be required to answer a few profile questions, such as what time you wake up in the morning, what time you go to bed at night, do you like to share, what do you do on the weekends, things like that. And that will, kind of generate some information for us, but it also allows you to kind of filter through everybody that has completed an application to see who you may be compatible with. There's also a section in there where you can write a brief description about yourself, so that other students can, read that description. You can put whatever it is that you want in that brief description, Instagram, Facebook accounts, anything that you feel, you want another student to see. They can select you, they can send messages, or you can send messages back and forth between students. And then you can also create a roommate group. And within that roommate group that's how we would use that information to assign and or, put your roommate groups together so that you can select housing on your own.
Thank you, Toya. All right, well, we have answered a lot of questions. I'm just going to quickly touch on a few others, but we are going to be wrapping up here soon. So if you have any remaining questions, please drop them in the chat now so we can make sure we get to those before we conclude this evening. Let's see. There is a question about in-person dormitory residence hall tours. We will be offering residence hall tours for sure during admitted student days. An opportunity to see several of our freshman specific residence halls. And then we do currently have a sample room available during our campus tours. So hopefully you'll be able to join us again for admitted student days. But if you can't get on campus at all, if your spring is busy, or if travel is just not in the cards for you this semester, we understand. And we have virtual tours on the residence hall website of all of our residence halls, so you can see them that way as well. Let's see. Question, Rebecca, you might be able to jump in on this one. Are parents allowed to attend the meeting during orientation where with academic advising for students to select their courses?
I actually just typed that one, so I can definitely address that. Unfortunately, no, parents are not allowed to sit in with the students when selecting classes. It's in a group style registration. However, on day one, students go through an advising session. They are then given homework. Yes, you will be given homework at orientation to take a look at our general education courses, take a look at some of the classes that are offered, and talk it over with your parents or your guardians, your siblings who might have also attended CofC. So you will have that opportunity to talk it over the night before, but it is only for the student and their advisor on that day too.
Thanks, Rebecca. Patrick, it looked like there was a question that you wanted to answer. Yep. I'd ask, what is the anticipated move-in date, and what date will classes begin?
Yes, so the fall 2023 academic calendar is available online. And you'll see that there that the residence halls will open up Friday, August 18th, and move-in will commence through that weekend. So between the 18th and 20th is when students will move in. On Monday, the 21st, we'll have our new student convocation, where everyone will process in through Porter's Lodge into the Cistern Yard, shown right behind me. And then classes will start on Tuesday, August 22nd, and then you're off to the races. It'll also, if you want to look there, have all the information on Thanksgiving break, as well as end of semester and what holiday break will look like. The college does a great job of keeping academic calendars. I think on here, they have all the way through spring 2024, if you can believe it. But those academic calendars get put up in a framework as early as they're available. So it's a great way to get a little bit of planning done early on.
Perfect. Thank you. Parents weekend for fall 23. I can't quite wrap my head around we're going into 23 yet. Has not been announced yet. Family weekend will be announced probably as we get closer into the spring semester. So
can I add to that, Devin, too?
Yeah,
so fun fact, CFC Family Weekend, Parents Weekend, whichever you would like to call it by, has actually been moved more so to the spring. For a good 2 years in a row, the fall family weekend was canceled due to hurricanes. So I probably just opened a can of worms even there. But our parents' family weekend does tend to be in the spring.
Mark your calendars. Cougar Family Fun Day will be on Saturday, February 25th, 2023. So that's what it is for this year.
Thank you, Patrick.
So anticipate the same time of year for 2024 for those of you coming in fall 23. Cool. These have been some fantastic questions. I can't believe we've caught up with them all. There are no questions in the Q&A right now. So we'll hold for just one more moment in case any more pop in. Here's a good one. Does studying abroad, is there an additional cost incurred, or is that just your tuition?
So study abroad programs are all going to vary quite a bit. And our study abroad office, so give me 1 second here. I want to get the right website to share with you all. So basically just Google study abroad, but our Center for International Education, they will typically be giving, and Devin, correct me if I'm wrong, typically the Center for International Education will give a presentation at Admitted Student Days.
That's correct.
Great. They will provide some information. There's a variety of different programs that the College of Charleston offers. Some of them are with Charleston staff and faculty taking essentially a trip or a long stay abroad. Other times they're more of a host situation, or sometimes there's more of an exchange type situation. And so there's a lot of these different programs. You don't need to understand them all right now. The Center for International Education, though, will explain it all. Ultimately, the tuition and the funding can be a little bit different depending on what it is, but they're there to answer all those sorts of questions and help you understand what might be the best fit. But a lot of our students take advantage of it. I think it's typically anywhere from 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 of our students will do a study abroad by the time they graduate. So it's a great opportunity to get out and see the world and experience a different culture.
Okay, just to clarify, we're getting a lot of questions. We will not have Admitted Student Days and Family Day are different. So Family Day will be once your student is enrolled at the College of Charleston. So think during their freshman year. Admitted Student Days for 23 are for you all who have just been admitted and have not come yet. When we were talking about Family Weekend in the spring, again, that will be once your student has been on campus with us, for a full fall semester, their freshman year, and going into the spring. But yes, there's always a lot happening on campus. Spring in the city of Charleston is busy. Spring in on campus is busy, and so you'll have a lot to see and do and experience when you're on campus with us, for sure.
And the reality of it is parents love to come and visit at all different times of the year, right? It's the city of Charleston with its beaches, with its history, with its architecture, with so much going on. Unlike some other schools out there that might need to find a great excuse to get parents to all visit them on one particular weekend, parents generally don't have to have their arm twisted too hard in order to come visit Charleston. So lots of opportunities to come visit your students.
I've seen a lot of people ask about how do you register your account? You will get access to your account / your email after you deposit. So that normally comes about 24 hours after you pay that $400 enrollment deposit. More information will be given once that comes through as well. So please don't stress about that yet. More information to come once again you pay that $400 deposit.
Let's see. Can we touch on hurricane and evacuation protocol?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Obviously, right, almost every campus is going to have some form of severe weather to deal with in one way or another. And for the College of Charleston, it's almost always going to be a hurricane. That's the issue for us. The college does have a very extensive hurricane plan, and it is always updated and continues to be improved upon year after year. Correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we needed to evacuate was fall of 2019, all the way back in pre-COVID times. What had happens is, regardless of whether a student lives on campus or whether a student has moved off campus, if we are in a need to evacuate, and right, this is obviously a call made by local and state officials, but being on the coast, if the evacuation order is given, whether your students are living on campus or whether they've moved off campus and they need a place to go, the College of Charleston will evacuate them to a safe accommodation. Typically, in the last time that we did it in fall of 2019, President Hsu, as well as a number of senior leaders, went right with our students on the bus, stayed with them the entire time. Typically, we will go to another college campus, at least an hour or two inland, where things are generally a bit safer. We'll wait out the storm there. We take care of our students. We house them. We feed them. We keep them safe and secure. And like I said, the senior leadership stays with them through the entire time. One of the things I always love, and I think this speaks really well to the community that gets built at the College of Charleston, where we have about right around a little bit under 10,000 undergraduate students. And in 2019, we did have a hurricane bear down on Charleston only about 2 or 3 weeks into our fall semester. So we had, a whole freshman class who had just moved onto campus, and they were, still getting to know each other and build connections. Of all those students, the College of Charleston ultimately only needed to evacuate about 150 of those students. And so the reality is most students wind up going with friends and family that are through the area, especially, and importantly, all our out-of-state students, right, who maybe don't have family in state they can get to. They build some really great connections. The ones that needed it absolutely took advantage of it and were able to get some good contacts and stay with the college through the storm. I think that might have been it.
Yeah. Well, thank you all again for joining us. This has been great for us to have this time with you to answer questions that we know are top of mind. And as Patrick and Rebecca have both said, keep in touch with your counselors. That's what we're all here for. We will be taking some time off starting this week, and we'll be back in the new year. But if you can get in touch with us before, we'll definitely do our best to get all of your questions answered before the college closes for the winter break. But we look forward to seeing you all this spring and hearing from you and having you join the CofC family. So have a great night. Enjoy your break from school here soon, and a very happy new year to all of you. Bye.